Okay, now that we are dealing with data, the whole of this week has been, we have dedicated the whole of this week for data aspect, data analysis, data management, data entry, and data cleaning. So it's all about data and data and data and data. In my previous video, I was explaining the data correction processes and the steps, the key steps that a researcher must put into consideration if he or she is to correct data. So you can watch out on that video. It's already up and running on my YouTube channel. Like I said, please don't forget to subscribe and don't forget to on the notification button so that you can always have notifications every time I upload videos on this channel. So today my interest is about coding a questionnaire in SPSS. This is going to be a practical guide, so it's I will be more practical here, showing you some of the steps. But in today's video, emphasis is going to be put on the SPSS interface. So because when you are coding a questionnaire in SPSS, you must know and you must be very familiar with the interface. So I'll start by talking about SPSS. SPSS is a statistical package. It's in the market. It's a statistical package for social sciences, and there are many. Of course, there are many statistical packages, but in this particular video, we'll be using SPSS. It's in the market. You can buy it. Some universities, or I would say most of the universities, can give you access as a student to SPSS. In case the university does not do that, then you can go to the IBM website and get a trial version. Use it. It's always 1 month free trial version for you. We think that in 1 month you will have already finished analyzing your data. The software comes in 2 versions. We have one for Windows and the Mac operating systems. Yeah, so I want us to dive in. Let's get in so that I'll show you some of the practical steps, especially about the SPSS interface. So this video we may not do so much, but in the other videos we will now start coding and then entering our variables into SPSS. So I would like to go to SPSS, and that is when SPSS, when you open SPSS, this window appears, and the window is in 2 views. We have a data view and the variable view. So as I change here, you must see the interfaces. They are not the same. This is data view and it has its own aspects. Then this is variable view and it also has its own aspects. So the data view, this data view is where you enter the raw data, and that's where the raw data entry takes place. It is also where the raw data is stored once you have entered it. But if there is no data, like you see now like this, there is nothing, you'll see that the view, data view sheet, this sheet here, will always be grayed out. So it can only be activated when data is entered. So the data view has two parts, and we have columns, which shows these are the columns which shows the variables in the data set, and the rows. These are the rows which shows which show the observations in the data set. So each column is unique, and each row is also unique. When we get to the variable view, on the other hand, is where we enter or where we specify all our variables in the data set and their properties. So you see that it is here that we do the coding. So when we start doing the coding, it will be basically here. That will be coding, and there are two approaches to coding data in SPSS. You can code before data entry, or you can code after you have entered your data. But I normally love it that you code before you enter your data. So the next video will be doing the coding process practically. We shall show you how to code your data in SPSS when you go to the variable view. I would like to talk about the characteristics of the variables in the variable view. We have the name here. You specify the name of the variable, of the given variable. When naming variables, please keep this in mind. SPSS does not allow spacing in the variable names. For example, if I put age, then I say space, then I put met, SPSS is going to give us an error message and say variable contains an illegal character because you have put spacing. So keep that in mind. SPSS does not allow spacing in variables. If you want to combine two or more words, you can use an underscore. I will start each word with a capital letter. So you can, if you want to, you can just use underscore, age, met. You see that SPSS will allow this, will not look at it as a space. So there are times that you have variables that will require that you take on, variables that have spaces within that. Then we have type. For type, there are 9 types. If you want to look at the type, there are 9 types in SPSS, 9 types of variables in SPSS. But we normally take numeric, because numeric are those which will allow us to perform calculations. It also will allow us to perform to do our numeric calculations. But you can also have string. There are times you will be required to do string. There are times we have string variables, and these ones are represented by letters, but even as well as numbers. So you need to understand exactly the type of variable you are entering there. I normally stick to numeric because it will allow us to do our analysis properly. Then we have the width. The width is about how many characters a variable should have. The default is always 8, but you know SPSS can allow you have more characters. We have decimals. The decimals here specifies the number of spaces the variable should have. The default is always 2, but you can increase according to your preference. We have label here. This label is a very important aspect. For the label, it is a description of the variable. So you want to give much more description to the variable. So you can say, what is your age? This one now describes more of this variable, and it will clarify what the variable name stands for. For example, your variable name is age, and then you want now to specify put a label so that you clarify what the variable is all about. Then we have values. This values is also a very important aspect, because you assign values are used to assign they're used to assign numbers to categorical variables. For example, if you get in here and you want to assign numbers, the label is maybe, since this is age, we may say below 10 years or below 20 years, and then we give that value as 1 and we add. Then we say between 20 to 35 years, then we assign that as 2, we add. So you see that the values give you a dialog window which opens, prompting you to create the values like I've shown you in that example. So if you want to assign values to age, you take it in that example. Then we have missing. I normally don't like it that we do much with this, but SPSS missing will inform SPSS how to treat missing values. We have two types of missing values. We have system generated missing values, and we also have user defined missing values. If you want to specify user missing values, you take on you define it so that you show SPSS how it will define user defined missing values. So you click there, and in this around, then you say you can just put like I said, I don't always want that we tamper with this, because we can use other methods to find out the missing value. But you can just come here and say in case they are missing values, you will take 999. Let me hope SPSS will allow this one. This is user defined. You must enter at least one discrete missing value. Okay, let me see. Okay, like I said, we should not always bother so much with that. Then we go to columns. The columns will show the size. It shows the width size of the column. The default is always 8. If you increase the column size, the number displayed in the column will increase accordingly. Then align, you can align. Align shows how the data is aligned in the data view. You can align left, right, or center. And the measure, finally, let me end with the measure since time is not on our side. The measure is very, very important. There are 4 levels of measurement. We have scale, ordinal, and nominal, and you need to specify exactly which kind of level of measurement for each variable. Otherwise, if you don't put it well, it will affect the analysis. So thank you so much. I think that has been the interface. The next video I'll be showing you the menus, and then we'll see how we keep proceeding. Thank you so much and have a good time.